Let me show you the concept of creating a non-DSR item or a non-scheduled item inside Costimator. The concept of non-DSR item is derived from the DSR item. So each DSR item consists of a code, a description, a unit, and a rate. And hence a non-DSR item should also contain these. I'll take you to an example so that you have an understanding as to what we need to truly construct a DSR item and hence a non-DSR item also. So right now I'm inside my Costimator app, inside this DSR/DAR items area. And for each item, you can see we have a code, we have a description of that item, we have a unit of that item, and we have the rate of that item. So this is what I'm talking about, the code, the description, the unit, and the rate. Now, when it comes to code for a non-DSR item inside Costimator, this is going to be an automatic process. You do not have to do anything. Costimator will take this work upon itself. You will have to provide the description for it, and you as the user will have to provide the unit for it. So when it comes to rate, we actually have to create the analysis of rate, and this analysis of rate has to be created by the user in most of the terms. Every analysis of rate consists of a few more things. So if I'll just toggle this up, you can see it consists of the number of units. And when I'm talking about the number of units, I'm talking about this value right here. So you can see the details of cost of 20 meter length of pile. This 20 meter length of pile is the number of units which each DSR depends upon. So for every DSR, this value will be different. Sometimes you'll do it just for a unit. For example, in this case, we are doing it for 20 units. That is 20 meter length of pile. In some cases, you would have perhaps done it for a single meter of pile. But at the end of the whole thing, you'll be able to see that after the cost of 20 meter pile, that is the unit which was provided at the earlier number of units, the cost is finally brought down to a single unit. That is cost for 1 meter pile. This is usually done so that the rounding errors are removed and it's much easier to comprehend sometimes. This is the first data which you as the user will have to provide. That is the number of units. Next up, we have the item itself. When it comes to any DSR item, a DSR item is built up of basically three things. So it is built up of either the basic item, the DSR item, or some descriptive text. Let's see that in example. So right here inside 20.5.2, you can see this item is made up of different basic items. So 9999718171820027 and so on. It is also made up of different DSR items. So for example, this item right here is dependent upon 5.33.1.1, 5.19, 5.1.3, 3.7. So it consists of basic items, the DSR items, and it also depends upon some of the text. So for example, this text right here, material, is just a text. It does not consist of any unit, quantity, rate, or amount. It is not a basic item, nor it is a DSR item. It is simply a descriptive text to define what your AR depends upon. So all in all, each analysis of rate consists of different items, which can be either basic rates, the DSR rates, or the descriptive text. Now, when it comes to basic items, inside Costimator, you have the ability of not only providing basic items which are already existing inside the DSR, but you can also create non-DSR basic items and then you can link them to your non-DSR item. So for example, right here, you can see we have only 99997181. This is a list which is coming from DSR. If you wanted to add a basic item which is not a part of DSR item, you can do so by creating that non-DSR basic item and then link it to the non-DSR item, which we'll of course have a look at. Now these have to be selected by the user. Similarly, DSR items have to be selected by the user and the descriptive text has to be selected by the user. Once you select the items, you'll have the ability of modifying the description also. So for example, you can see the 5.33.1.1, it is simply written as rate as per item number so and so. So this is a custom text and this is not the true description of 5.33.1.1. So Costimator also provides you with the ability of updating this as you move along. So this was all about the items. Next up, we have the item quantity. So each item, be it a DSR item or a basic item, consists of a unit, which is of course dependent upon the item, but it also depends upon the quantity. Now this quantity is to be derived for each item. For the DSR item, it is done by CPWD, and for non-DSR item, it has to be done by you. So you will have the ability to update and modify this quantity. So this has to be provided by the user. And finally, we have the item rates itself. Now the item rates will be in two parts. So it can be a DSR rate and the market rate. Costimator gives you the comparatives of both. If you are selecting the basic items or the DSR items or the non-DSR basic items, all the rates are brought in directly. You do not have to mess up with that. But once you are done with providing the DSR rates, which are automatic, of course, you can go ahead and do the market rate analysis also, which will be provided by the user for each of the said basic items or the DSR items. All in all, a DSR item and by comparison, a non-DSR item is dependent upon the code, description, unit, and rate. Rate in turn is dependent upon the number of units, the different items, be it basic, DSR, or descriptive, the item quantities, and the item rates, be it DSR or the market rate. Costimator takes all this concept and brings it to a place where you can easily provide each of this without having to deal with the internal formula. So all you have to do is provide the values wherever necessary, and Costimator does the rest of it. So this is all about the concept of how a non-DSR item or in fact a DSR item is created.